Countdown.
Tahniah. Siaran langsung ini dibawakan khas kepada anda oleh Akademi YouTuber Malaysia. Sebuah inisiatif E-Didik Malaysia dan Kelab Guru Malaysia. Tumpukan perhatian anda. Siaran langsung akan bermula sebentar lagi. Link sijil akan diberikan di hujung siaran ini. Pastikan diisi dalam tempoh yang ditetapkan. Terima kasih.
Hai, Assalamualaikum. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat sejahtera. Hai kepada para guru, ibu bapa yang dihormati dan para pelajar yang madam kasihi sekalian. Selamat datang ke Pusat Tuisyen Akademi YouTuber AYU, usaha sama E-Didik Malaysia dan Kelab Guru Malaysia. Bermula percuma, selamanya percuma. Untuk mendapatkan keberkatan kelas kita pada malam ini, mari kita sama-sama mulakan kelas dengan membaca Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Okey, apa khabar para pelajar yang madam kasihi semua? Harap semuanya berada dalam keadaan yang baik dan bersedia untuk meneruskan kelas kita pada malam ini. Madam percaya pelajar-pelajar sudah tidak sabar lagi untuk mengikuti kelas kita kali ini. Okey, saya perkenalkan diri dahulu. Nama saya Puan Asmazatul Yusfiziati binti Muhammad Yusof atau nama panggilan Madam Fizi dari Kolej Matrikulasi Negeri Sembilan selaku moderator pada malam ini. Hari ini kita ada kelas tuisyen Perakaunan Matrikulasi kali ke-10. Pada malam ini kita bersiaran secara langsung dari channel Cikgu Yati. Sesiapa yang belum subscribe, silalah tekan butang subscribe sebagai tanda sokongan. Untuk makluman pelajar semua, nama penuh beliau ialah Cikgu Nurhayati binti Ismail dari Kolej Matrikulasi Negeri Sembilan. Beliau mempunyai pengalaman mengajar selama 26 tahun. So, tajuk yang akan disampaikan oleh Cikgu Yati pada malam ini ialah topik 8, proses costing. So, pelajar dan para penonton lain dialu-alukan untuk mempelajari topik berkenaan. Kelas ini akan berlangsung lebih kurang 1 jam. Bersama madam di studio pada malam ini ialah Cikgu Nur Faizah Ahmad sebagai control host. Beliau adalah pensyarah biologi dari Kolej Matrikulasi Negeri Sembilan. Okay, hai Cikgu Faizah. Dan di studio juga kita ada Cikgu Wawa, juga seorang pensyarah biologi dari Kolej Matrikulasi Pahang sebagai pemerhati. Okay, hai Cikgu Wawa, selamat datang. Okey, sebelum kita teruskan kelas kita, suka madam ingatkan semua pelajar dan para penonton yang ingin menghantar komen agar menggunakan bahasa yang sopan dan gambar profil yang bersesuaian untuk tuntunan umum. Sila on kamera dan mikrofon siap-siap jika anda terpilih untuk naik ke ruang studio ini untuk bersama dengan Cikgu Yati. Sila fokus pada isi pelajaran yang akan disampaikan dan hanya menggunakan ruang chat untuk menjawab soalan atau jika ada soalan yang hendak diajukan. Pada akhir siaran ini, link e-sijil akan diberikan dan anda hanya ada 30 minit sahaja untuk mengisi maklumat. Sila pastikan anda menggunakan email e-didik sahaja. Okey, madam percaya semua yang hadir kelas pada malam ini merupakan pelajar-pelajar cemerlang dan mari kita tunjukkan disiplin yang terbaik. Oleh itu, madam berharap agar semua memberi sepenuh tumpuan semasa kelas ini bersiaran. Baiklah, tanpa berlengah lagi, madam serahkan kelas kita kepada Cikgu Yati. Dengan segala hormat dia dipersilakan.
Okey, terima kasih Madam Fizi selaku moderator pada malam ini. Assalamualaikum. Dan hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Okay, terima kasih juga kepada Cikgu Faizah, pensyarah bio from College Matrikulasi New Zealand dan juga Cikgu Wawa from College Matrikulasi Pahang sebagai pensyarah biologi. So, I just want to introduce myself, my name. Okay, my name, this is my biodata. My name is Puan Nurhaiti Ismail, or you can call me Cikgu Yati. And I'm teaching in College Matrikulasi Negeri Sembilan, and I have been teaching about 26 years, where 15 years in the schools and 11 years in matriculation. And you can visit my channel, Cikgu Yati channel. And this is my teammate under Perakaunan and Ekonomi for Collaboration, Matriculation and STPM, led by Madam Fizi. And this is the mathematics team. So the leader is Teacher Im. So this is the combination between STPM and matriculation, lecturers and teachers. And this one, biology team, and the leader is Cikgu Faiza. And this is chemistry Prayu for STPM and matriculation. The leader is Cikgu Shahnun. And this is physics team, and the leader is Cikgu Rosmaya. And don't forget to visit Academy YouTuber portal www.academyyoutuber.com. Alright, today I just want to continue with topic 8, process costing. For this topic, the learning objectives are the student able to find the definition of process costing. Number 2, the characteristic of process costing, equivalent units, and you have to calculate product cost per unit, cost of finished units, and cost of ending work in process inventory, transferred in cost, production cost report, and journal entry. For tonight, I just want to teach you number 1 until number 5 only. Okay, so you must know what is the definition of process costing. So it's a system for assigning costs to goods that are mass produced in a large amount in a continuous sequence of steps that we call processes. So this is the example for large numbers of identical units. For example, tomato ketchup, boxes of cereal, shampoos, and sardines. Many companies in the petroleum, food and beverage, pharmaceutical, and chemical industry use process costing. So they will produce a large numbers of identical units. So this is the example for process costing. Can sardine, shampoo, oil, and cereal. Okay, what is the characteristic of process costing? So the number 1, homogeneous. That means identical. And number 2, cost accumulation. You have to calculate the cost. So a process costing system accumulates the cost of each process need to complete the product. For example, there are 2 departments, so we have to accumulate each department from processing department, and then we have to transfer cost complete to the next department. That one we call packaging department. That one is one example. And then we have to record in the production cost report. So costs are charged to every process or to every department. And the total costs are determined at the end of a period time, normally at the end of the month. Okay, we can compare job order costing with process costing. So last chapter, we have learned about job order costing where there are job 1, job 2, job 3. We have to calculate every job separately. So they are using direct material, direct labor, MO, but they have their own job per cost. Okay, job 1 they have their own cost, job 2 for cost per job, and job 3 job per cost. After that, we have to transfer to the finished good when they have processed, and we have to sell that product, and we have to open cost of goods sold. So that one job order costing. This one for the customer's specification. And for process costing, it is quite different from job order costing. For example, I give you one example, canned sardine. They need direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead. So the first process may be that one we call process department for canned sardine. And process B, maybe they are called canning department. After two department, then canned sardine can become finished good. So we have to transfer to finished good and at the end to cost of goods sold when we sell canned sardine. So it means that canned sardine have to pass two departments. Number one, processing department, and number two, canning department. That one we call process costing. Every department we have to calculate its cost, and its cost will accumulate to another department. That one we call process costing. Okay, what is the difference between job order costing and process costing? So number one, job order costing heterogeneous, assigned to a specific job, and for process costing homogeneous or similar or identical. And for cost accumulation, we have to calculate cost for each job. Each job, that means each customer. But under process costing, we have to calculate cost for each process. Each process too, that means every department. We have to calculate the cost. And cost flow under job order costing, we have to calculate cost for each job and costs are charged to each job. So we have to calculate cost when the job is complete. So for job order costing, they should have the date of started and the date of complete. But under process costing, costs are charged for every process or every department. So the total costs are determined at the end of a period time. So they have go through for every department, and at the end of department they have to calculate cost. So the documentation for job order costing we call job cost sheet, but under process costing we call production cost report. Okay, this one is the cost flow in process costing. Number one, you can see, okay, this one raw material, direct labor, and MO assigned to the first department. Let's say that the first department is machining department. After processing the product, they have to transfer to another department. For example, they have to transfer to assembly department. So this one maybe they want to produce a car. So uh, after transferring to assembly department, they will complete their job, and after that they have to transfer to finished good. So at this stage we have to calculate the cost that it will involve to department, machining department and assembly department. And after that we have to calculate cost of goods sold. So the difference is we have to calculate cost accumulation for each department. This one is the cost flow for department A and department B. You can see when you want to start to process the product, so there are two process. No, I mean there are two units. We have to start with started and unit beginning work in process. After that, we produce the product. This one we must record at the beginning of the month. After we process the product, still in the same department, and it will become unit transferred out or unit complete. Maybe we have to calculate this unit at the end of the month. So this complete will transfer to the next department. So it will become unit transferred in for department B or the second department. And ending work in process, they have to transfer again to start with beginning work in process. So you just look at unit transferred out. So this one we have to calculate the unit transferred out and cost transferred out. Another name we call unit complete. So this is the same procedure ataupun cycle for department B. After that, we go to cost of goods sold, finished good, and then cost of goods sold. We just look at these four units in first department. Okay, now we have to calculate equivalent units. What is meant by equivalent unit? Ending work in process is partially complete. So that means they will give you the percentage of complete. Okay, that one measure the work done during this period expressed in fully complete units. So this concept, I will show you the formula how to calculate equivalent unit. So you just know that work in process, ending work in process, we have to calculate based on the percentage completed. Okay, this concept is used to determine cost production per unit of complete product. So that one we call equivalent unit. Complete unit must add with ending work in process that given in the percentage complete. Okay, this one show the diagram of the table how to get partially complete unit or equivalent unit. So the first diagram show that 50% complete, another 50% not complete. So we just calculate for the work in process 50% complete. And then the second data, this one 50% complete and another one 50% complete. So we can add these three together. So the formula is 50% times 3 partially complete unit. So you will get 1.5 equivalent unit. Okay, never mind if you don't understand. I will show you another calculation for that part. Okay, when you want to calculate process costing, there are 5 steps for you to prepare the answer cost per equivalent unit. The first step, we must compute physical unit flow. Number 2, we have to compute equivalent unit of production. So you must know how to calculate equivalent unit of production. Step 3, summarize total cost to account. Step 4, compute cost per equivalent unit. Okay, this one is very important because this cost per equivalent unit, you must transfer to the next department. And the step 5, we have to assign total cost to unit complete and units ending work in process. Or you have to calculate cost completed and cost of ending work in process. And we must find out that cost in step 3, this one, the total cost, this one before processing or during process must equal to the the total for cost complete and cost of ending work in process. This one we call after processing at the end of the month. And for this one, step 3, we have to calculate in the beginning of the month and during the month. And this total should be equal at the end of the month. Okay, number 1. When you want to calculate physical unit, we have to identify 4 units. So this one we call total units to be accounted for. It means that we have to calculate unit at the beginning of the month. For example, for 1st of January. So when you want to produce canned sardine, we must know the unit started or how much kg of fish that you want to start. And at the same time, we have to add units in production at the beginning of period, or that one we call beginning work in process. So this one we have to calculate at the beginning or at the 1st of the month. After processing the product at the same department, we have to calculate units transferred out. So this one accounted for, that means we have produced the product or we have processed the product. So unit transferred out, or that one we call unit complete, that one you want to transfer to the next department, plus units ending work in process. So total unit to be accounted for equals to total units accounted for. So that means total units before processing or at the beginning of the month must equal to the total unit at the end, this one in the beginning and this one at the end of the month. Okay, the second step. Okay, this one is the second step. We have to calculate equivalent units. That one we call equivalent units of production. What is the formula? Unit complete. That one we have complete the canned sardine. I give you one example. Canned sardine from processing department. So we have to go through for the first department. That one we call process department. After complete process department, we must transfer to the next department, maybe canning department. So after complete this one, you have to calculate the units plus unit of ending work in process. So there is a percentage given in the question. That one we call percentage complete for ending work in process. So when you add together, this one complete and this one percentage complete given in the question for ending work in process, and you will get equivalent units. So you have to calculate equivalent units for direct material individually, and also you have to calculate equivalent unit for conversion cost. Conversion cost represent for direct labor and manufacturing overhead. So there are two formula that you have to calculate for equivalent unit. You have to calculate separately. And this is the third step. You have to summarize the total cost. What is the formula? So this is the formula. Normally this cost incurred during the period and at the beginning of the period. So beginning work in process cost plus current cost, then you will get total cost. And you have to calculate direct material, total cost for direct material individually, and also you have to calculate total cost for conversion cost individually. And just now I have told you conversion cost consists of direct labor and manufacturing overhead. And okay, the step 4, you have to compute cost per equivalent unit. So this is the formula that you can get from step 2, step 1, 2, 3 just now. So this is the total cost of direct material. Just now you have calculated divided by equivalent units of direct material. So this one, step 3 divided by equivalent unit of direct material. This one is step 2. Then you got the answer for step 4. Direct material cost per equivalent unit. And again, you have to calculate cost per equivalent unit for direct material individually and conversion cost individually. And at the end of the calculation, you have to add direct material cost per equivalent unit plus conversion cost per equivalent unit, and this is the manufacturing cost per equivalent unit. Now this one is very important for you to calculate because this one represent for cost per equivalent unit for one unit of production from first department. And step 5, you have to compute cost complete. Cost complete or cost transferred out. This is the first department. We have complete the process of production and we must transfer to the next department. So just now I just mentioned to you, our product is canned sardine. Canned sardine, the first step or the first department is processing department. After complete, we have complete we have complete the process from process department. That means we have add direct material, indirect material, and then we have processed the sardine with onion, with chili sauce, and so on. So we have to transfer to the next department. That one we call can department. And we still have the balance in the cooker or not finished yet, but we have to calculate the ending work in process based on percentage complete, maybe 60% complete. So we have to calculate in order to get cost of ending work in process. So this is the formula for cost complete and transferred out, units complete, multiplied by cost per equivalent unit. Then you got the answer for cost complete. And another one, cost of ending work in process. So you have to calculate the ending work in process. Direct material, we have to calculate direct material individually and conversion cost individually. The formula is ending work in process material multiplied by cost per unit for direct material. And the same step, you have to calculate ending unit work in process for conversion cost multiplied by cost per unit for conversion cost. And you will get total cost of ending work in process. So when you add together for this amount, then you will get cost accounted for. Cost accounted for, it means that we have processed this product through department 1. And cost accounted for must equal to cost to account for at the beginning of the month. This one at the end of the month or at the end of the period. Okay, I give you the example. Brand Company Limited operate business by producing canned sardines by using process costing system. The data below available for processing department during December 2020. So you must first step, you must identify the unit physical. There are 4 unit physical. Number 1, at the beginning of the month, you must identify the unit beginning. This one we call unit beginning work in process. How do you know that one beginning? Because this one is given, the date is December 1. So this one we call the unit beginning work in process, December 1. And this one, unit started into production. So when you, okay, this one, 800,000. So when you want to calculate work in process ataupun the beginning work in process plus unit started, that one we call units to account for. That one before processing. You get one total and it equals to unit complete. You have to calculate this amount plus unit ending work in process 200,000. So this is physical unit. The conclusion is beginning work in process plus unit started equals to one amount, and then another cost, another unit at the end of the December 31st. This one beginning of December, ending work in process plus unit complete, you get one amount, and these two amount, units to account, equals to unit accounted for, or in other words, units before processing. Okay.
Okey, kita berehat sebentar ya. Okey, kita
Right.
sambung kita sambung nanti. Okey, stay tune semua.
Alah, apa ni? PKPB lagi. SPM pula ditangguhkan. Jenuhlah nak bayar yuran tuition. Pernah dengar tentang tuition percuma? Kami di Akademi YouTuber menyediakan tuition online secara percuma kepada anda semua. Ada prasekolah, sekolah rendah, sekolah menengah, STPM, juga untuk matrikulasi. Percuma je. Jom layari laman sesawang www.academyyoutuber.com.
Okey, kita sambung semula ya. Okey, dipersilakan Cikgu Yati.
Okay, thank you, Madam Fizi. Okay, kita continue. Just now saya sebut units to account for ataupun unit before processing adalah unit beginning work in process plus unit started. That one before processing. After processing, we should have the same amount. That means after processing, unit complete plus unit ending work in process. So what is the amount for unit complete? So you have to use the formula. Okay, that one is in terms of unit. You have to identify 4 units in this question. Okay, another one. You are given the cost. So this is the amount for cost. It will give you the amount at the beginning of the month. That one we call work in process ataupun kita panggil beginning work in process cost. And another one, they will give you current cost or the cost incurred during the month. So this one, you get one formula, cost to account. That one we call cost to account must equals to cost accounted for. Atau dalam bahasa Melayu, cost yang belum proses atau dalam proses mesti sama dengan kos yang telah diproses. So yang belum proses tu what is that? Beginning work in process plus current cost must equals to cost complete plus cost of ending work in process. That is one way how to check your answer. Okay, now this one, the cost is given individually for direct material and conversion cost. And this one also given cost, current cost, you have to calculate individually for direct material and conversion cost during the year. Okay, you are required to calculate number one, physical unit flow. And I have told you, you must identify 4 units. In the question, units to account for ataupun units before processing. After process, we call unit accounted for. So units to account equals to units accounted for. To past tense accounted. To account is in the future ataupun belum not happened yet. Okay, another one, you have to calculate equivalent units. So I give you the formula just now. Complete unit plus with ending work in process given the percentage complete. Number 3, you have to calculate cost per equivalent unit. You have to calculate separately for direct material and conversion cost. Number 4, calculate cost complete or transferred out. And the last one, cost of ending work in process. Okay, look at number 1. Okay, just now in the question, you have to calculate units complete. This one is the missing figure. Can we calculate units complete? Yes, we are using the formula because we know that units to be accounted for, that one, the date at the beginning of the month equals to unit accounted for or the date at the end of the month. The total should be the same, 900,000 in the beginning of the month and 900,000 at the end of the month. So what is the formula for complete or units complete? So the formula is unit beginning work in process plus unit started, and then you have to deduct unit ending work in process, and you will get this amount for unit complete. Or you can get this total 900,000 minus 200,000, then you can find out this amount. Okay, very easy. You just remember that units to be accounted for must always equal to unit accounted for. To be accounted for at the beginning of the month and accounted for at the end of the month. And the second step, you have to compute equivalent units of production. And you know that we are preparing canned sardine. So we have to go through for the first department. That one we call processing department. And we know that department adds materials at the beginning of process. So that one is 100%. Okay, now you should know what is the formula for equivalent unit. The formula is unit complete or unit transferred out. That one is the same term, yeah? Unit complete, sometimes I will say unit complete and sometimes I will say unit transferred out. That one is the same term and the same meaning. Transferred out, that means we have to transfer to the next department. That one is canning department. So unit complete plus ending work in process based on the percentage complete. So for direct material, 100% complete. So 200,000, this one, where do you get this amount? From the question, 200,000 unit multiplied by 100% given in the question. So you got 200,000 for material. And for conversion cost given in the question, 60% complete. So you must calculate only 60% from the ending work in process. So you got partially complete. This one we call partially. Part completely, part of it complete, based on the percentage given in the question. So you get unit complete plus unit ending work in process based on the percentage complete. So you get the answer for equivalent unit for material is 900,000 and for conversion cost is 820,000 unit. So that one we call units. So this is the second step. The third step, we have to summarize total cost to account. Okay, you see total cost to account. That one is at the beginning of the month and during the month. So the total for material, this one given in the question, beginning, work in process, cost plus current cost for material. We have to calculate individually for material. So you got the total cost for material is 450,000. And for conversion cost given in the question, beginning cost plus current cost for conversion cost. And you should know conversion cost consists of direct labor and manufacturing overhead. And this is the total for conversion cost. We need this amount to calculate cost per equivalent unit. The next step, we have to calculate cost per equivalent unit. So we have to calculate cost per equivalent unit separately for direct materials and conversion cost. So look at the number one. What is the formula? The formula is total direct material cost. The formula you should know, beginning cost plus current cost. Then you got this amount divided by equivalent unit of direct material. This is the second step that you calculate. And this one is the third step. So after that, you got the answer for direct material cost per unit. This one RM 450,000 divided by 900,000 equivalent unit. So this is the answer for direct material cost per unit, 50 cent per unit. And you have to calculate for conversion cost because we have to calculate separately for direct material cost and conversion cost per unit. What is the formula? The formula is the beginning cost plus the current cost. For conversion cost, you got this amount, 205,000 divided by equivalent unit. What is the formula for equivalent unit? The formula is unit complete plus units of ending work in process with percentage completed. And you got the answer, 25 cents per unit. So you have calculate for direct material cost per unit and you have calculate conversion cost per unit separately. Now, we have to combine these together, unit material cost or in other words, we call direct material cost per unit plus conversion cost per unit. Then you got the answer for product cost per equivalent unit. So product cost means it consists of direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. But we have to calculate separately. At the end, you have to add these two amounts, 50 cents plus 25 cents, and this is product cost per equivalent unit, 75 cents. So this is the step 4 or the fourth step. And the last step, you have to calculate cost accounted to. Now you must know cost to be accounted for equals to cost accounted to. Cost before processing must equals to cost after processing. This one is after processing. So you will produce cost complete and cost of ending work in process. What is the formula? The formula is this one represent for unit complete in the question just now. This is the missing figure in the question just now. Unit complete multiplied by product cost per unit. This one is step 4. Just now we calculate and you got the answer 5 to 5,000. So this one we call cost accounted for, or in other words, cost that you have to calculate after processing at the end of the month. After that, you will find out that there is still work in process at 31st December. You have to calculate material unit. Unit, this one represent for unit ending work in process for material. This one 200,000 we have calculated just now based on 100% completed. Multiply by 50 cents per unit. So this one represent for direct materials per unit. So you got 100,000 ringgit. And conversion cost, you still have to do the same step. This one, 120,000 represent for ending work in process for conversion cost. Given based on the percentage complete, because we have to calculate partial completed. Multiply by 25 cents. This one, conversion cost per unit. So you got 30,000. So this is the cost of ending work in process. So when you add this together, that one we call cost accounted for 5 to 5,000 plus 130,000, you got this amount. This amount we call cost accounted for. And this amount should be the same with the amount cost to account. To account, that means beginning cost plus current cost for direct material and conversion cost. Okay, finish already. Okay, now I just want to give you the question based on the step just now I give it to you. There are 5 steps. Number 1, you have to summarize the physical unit. There are 4 units that you have to identify. Number 2, you have to calculate equivalent unit. So you know equivalent unit equals to unit complete plus unit ending work in process based on the percentage completed. Number 3, you have to calculate total cost for direct material and conversion cost. Number 4, you have to calculate cost per unit. You have to calculate direct material separately from conversion cost. At the end, you have to add this amount together. And the last one, you have to calculate cost accounted for. That one, after processing. So you will produce cost complete and cost of ending work in process. Okay, now look at question number 1. This is quiz 1. If the beginning work in process is 4,000 units, so you must know what is the beginning. So you must know what is the 4,000 unit means. Look at this sentence, work in process beginning. So automatic, you should know this is the beginning work in process in units. And given ending work is 2,000 units. And units accounted for equal 15,000. Accounted for, that means the total for accounted is 15,000. What must unit started into production be? So you have to calculate unit started. So I just give you, can you give the formula? Can you give the answer? I just give you a clue where unit started to plus, unit started plus unit beginning work in process equals to 15,000. That is the answer lah. So any of you can give the answer. So the missing figure nya apa?
Okay.
Missing figure dia unit started. Tapi you should know this 15,000
Dah ramai jawab.
Oh, dah jawab lah. Okay, I thought they all boleh
Dah
jawab lagi.
ramai dah saya nampak dekat chat box ni Angela, Kinah, Daniel, Riza, Nohasana, Karim, Muazzin, Zin, Saf, Triple M, Husna, Afifah, Ang,
okey. So,
Ilin, Anis, Zaki, Nish, semua tu kebanyakannya jawab D.
D.
Ilin jawab
Donkey.
C.
Yang donkey. Oh, ada
Nisha
jawapan yang lain.
jawab C. Yang lain jawab D. Yang saya sebut tadi kebanyakan jawab D.
Okay, the answer is C. Kenapa dia orang berbeza ya?
Jawapan dia C.
Jawapan dia
So
C.
yang Eileen, Nisha tadi jawab betul lah. C.
Congratulations siapa yang jawab betul. So I will show you how to calculate the answer C.
Okay.
Ini jawapan dia C. So you are given the total 15,000 units. So this is the total for 15,000 unit. Sebab dia kata apa? Unit accounted for equal 15,000 unit. So the missing figure ialah 11,000. So 11,000 plus unit beginning work in process equals to accounted for. So kena tahu ya, units accounted for sama dengan unit to account. Atau dalam bahasa Melayu, unit sebelum proses mestilah sama dengan unit selepas proses. So unit selepas proses ialah 2. Okay. Number 2. Hopefully diorang faham lah kot. Okay, number 2. In Tulip Company, the cutting department had beginning, ni nampak ni, beginning, dia sebutkan beginning, work in process 6,000 unit, transferred out 24,000 unit. Okay, another words for transferred out is unit complete 24,000 and had an ending work in process 3,000 unit. So you have to calculate unit accounted for in order to find out unit started. So maksudnya unit started plus dengan unit beginning, you will get the amount equals to unit transferred out tambah dengan ending work in process. Atau in another word, units to account for atau unit sebelum proses equals to unit accounted for, unit selepas proses. So what is the answer for unit started?
Okay, dah ada jawapan. Safwan ni jawab A tadi. Anis Zaki jawab A.
Okay.
Nisha Rauf jawab B. Angela jawab B. Nur Hasanah jawab B. Elaine pun jawab B. Nisha jawab B. Amir Play jawab B. Ainur Mardiah jawab B. Kinah jawab B. Daniel Rizal jawab A.
Okay, so the answer is B. Okay, jadi I repeat,
Okay.
units account to account atau units to account, unit yang belum proses equals to unit accounted for, unit selepas proses. So kita tengok answer, how to get the answer. So you get this answer. So you must calculate this amount. Macam mana kita dapat 27,000? Kita kena calculate 27,000. How do you get that amount? Okay, unit complete 24,000 plus dengan unit ending 3,000. So this amount 24,000 plus 3,000 equals to 27,000. And this one, saya dah kata units to account must equals to unit accounted for. Atau unit sebelum proses mesti sama dengan unit selepas proses. So this is the started, unit started. This is the missing figure. 27,000 tolak dengan 6,000 dapat 21,000. So congratulations siapa yang jawab B. Very good. A very good listener lah kan. Okay. Ni soalan ni agak challenging yang nombor 3. Nombor 3 ni, okay kamu tengok ya. whether you can get the answer or not. This one kita based on units. Now kita based on cost. Okay. Kalau kita, this one, kalau ikutkan 5 step, this is the second, number 2, 3. Okay, this is the 4th step. Step yang keempat, you have to calculate product cost per unit. But before you calculate product cost per unit, you must calculate conversion cost per unit and material cost per unit separately. After that, you got the answer, you combine that together. So given conversion cost per unit equals 7, so they dah kira for you. So they have calculate for you. But for total direct material costs are 80,000 and equivalent unit for materials are 20,000. So you have to calculate material cost per unit, or in other words, material cost per equivalent unit. Then you have to add conversion cost per unit with material cost per unit. Then you got the total manufacturing cost per unit. Atau in other words, total product cost per unit. Okay, any of you can give me the answer? Because this one, step 4, calculate cost per unit. Yang tadi tu, step 1, you have to calculate unit physical. This one, you have to calculate direct material saja. Conversion cost dia dah bagi. Okay, dah ada yang bagi jawapan belum?
Okey, dah ada dah. Andis Zaki jawab A. Nur Hasanah jawab A. Abakari Muaz jawab A. Nur Syazlinda jawab A. Ainur Mardiah jawab A. Kinah jawab A. Hadirah Hasri jawab A.
Okay.
Nisha Rafrao jawab A.
Okay. So the answer is A. Betul lah. Congratulations.
Okay, good.
Give the correct answer. So I will show you how to get A or RM11. Okay, this is the answer just now. In the question, conversion cost per unit is given already, RM7 per unit, but you have to calculate direct material cost per unit or direct material cost per equivalent unit, 80,000 divided by 20,000 unit, then you got RM4 per unit. So total cost or total product cost or cost per unit, you have to add direct material per unit plus conversion cost per unit, then you got RM11 per unit. So that is correct. And this is the last question. And this one, you have to calculate everything, whether direct material cost per unit, and you also have to calculate conversion cost per unit, because in this question, you are required to calculate total manufacturing cost per unit, or in other words, total product cost per unit. So the formula is direct material cost per unit plus conversion cost per unit, then you will get total manufacturing cost per unit. So you have to calculate material cost per unit first. So maybe it take a few time for you to calculate. Ni agak panjang dia punya calculation. First one, you have to calculate material cost per unit, where the total cost divided by unit. And the second one, you have to calculate conversion cost per unit. It means that total cost for conversion cost divided by equivalent units of conversion cost. So any of them give the answer for this part?
Okay, dah ada answer dah. First, Swaf, macam mana tak nak pronounce nama dia, jawab A. And then Ainul Mardiah jawab A. Ainis Zaki jawab A. Angela jawab A. Amir Play jawab A. Nurina Nazurah jawab A. Nisha jawab A. Nur Syazlinda jawab A.
Okay.
Ilin jawab A. Nur Hasanah jawab A.
Okay, betul. That is correct. Congratulations to all
jawab
of
A.
the students. Okay, congratulations. Betul lah tu A. Sebab agak panjang dia punya calculation.
Okay.
Agak panjang. Okay, this is the working for that question. You have to calculate direct material cost. That means direct material cost 60,000 given divided by equivalent units of direct material 10,000. Then you got RM6 and conversion cost per unit. Conversion cost 90,000 divided by equivalent unit of conversion cost. So kamu dapat 4.5. So you have to add direct material. And this one represent for direct labor and manufacturing overhead. So you got the answer 6 plus 4.5. And the answer for cost per unit is RM10 ringgit and 50 cent. Betul lah jawapan dia. I think that's all for today. Kira dah habis lah ni.
Okay. Okay, so
Ngam-ngam.
terima kasih diucapkan. Ngam-ngam Okey, terima kasih diucapkan kepada Cikgu Yati atas perkongsian ilmu yang sangat bermanfaat tadi, yang mudah difahami dan sangat menarik. Alhamdulillah dah selesai kelas kita pada malam ini. Tahniah juga diucapkan kepada semua pelajar yang setia mengikuti kelas pada malam ini dari awal hinggalah ke saat ini. So sebelum kita tamatkan sesi siaran langsung hari ini, mohon tutup ruangan chat dan klik butang subscribe dan aktifkan ikon loceng supaya kamu tidak terlepas sesi kelas yang seterusnya. Sekiranya anda suka dengan apa yang dipelajari hari ini, sila klik like and share kepada rakan-rakan di media sosial anda untuk sebarkan ilmu dan beroleh kebaikan dan melalui perkongsian tersebut. Sila type dan di ruangan komen. Sebelum link sijil akan diberikan sebagai tanda terima kasih daripada kami kerana kehebatan kamu menyertai kelas tuition percuma pada malam ini. Link sijil boleh didapatkan pada bahagian chat. Sila ambil perhatian, link tersebut akan tamat dalam tempoh setengah jam selepas live ini. Pastikan anda guna e-didik sahaja. Okey, sekali lagi saya ucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada Cikgu Yati atas kelas malam ini. Sebelum kita tamatkan kelas pada malam ini, saya ingin menjemput ahli konti Cikgu Wawa untuk memberikan sepatah dua kata. So saya persilakan Cikgu Wawa. Cikgu Wawa suara.
Okay, sorry. Hai, Assalamualaikum dan selamat malam. Tahniah kepada pelajar yang spend masa untuk join kelas Cikgu Yati malam ni. Okay, teruskan untuk kelas seterusnya. So, jangan lupa tekan butang subscribe tu, okay, untuk notifikasi kelas Cikgu Yati seterusnya. Bye.
Okay. Terima kasih Cikgu Wawa. Ahli konti kita seorang lagi ialah Cikgu Faizah. Oleh kerana beliau tidak berapa sihat, ya, dia sakit tekak dan demam. So suara beliau macam ala-ala rockers, zaman rock kapak dulu. So beliau tak dapat nak memberi sepatah dua kata lah untuk hari ini. Okay, so terima kasih sekali lagi ya Cikgu Wawa dan juga Cikgu Faizah. Okey, so jangan lupa untuk dapatkan jadual tuition online terkini melalui portal www.academyyoutuber.com serta dapatkan info terkini. Untuk ambil untuk bahagian kelas tuition percuma ini kepada rakan-rakan dan guru-guru seluruh Malaysia. Semoga kita mendapat manfaat daripada kelas-kelas yang dijalankan. Ingat hashtag bermula percuma selamanya percuma, insya-Allah. Okey, so terima kasih sekali lagi kepada Cikgu Yati. Segala yang baik itu datangnya daripada Allah. Jika terdapat sebarang kekurangan dan kelemahan, itu adalah daripada kami. So, kelas tuition online percuma berakhir sudah. Di lain siaran, kita akan berjumpa lagi, insya-Allah. Okey, jangan lupa minggu depan kita ada kelas lagi topik night. Okey, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, bye.
Berikutan pengumuman penutupan sekolah sehingga akhir persekolahan, pengajaran dan pembelajaran secara home-based learning tetap diteruskan. Oleh itu, kami di Akademi YouTuber menyediakan tuition online percuma pertama di Malaysia dari prasekolah hinggalah ke sekolah menengah dengan kerjasama E-Didik Malaysia dan Kelab Guru Malaysia. Kenapa bayar jika anda boleh dapat percuma? Bermula percuma, selamanya akan percuma. Manfaatkan peluang yang ada. Jangan tunggu lagi, sertailah sekarang. Untuk maklumat lanjut, layari www.akademiyoutuber.com.
Dibawakan kepada anda oleh Akademi YouTuber.